In this video, 3 ways to upgrade your consciousness from the Matrix to total liberation. This is Jake Ducey with JakeDucey.com, and here you go from level 1, level 2 to level 10 in upgraded consciousness. Let's dive right into this video. Okay, first, before we get to number 1, make sure you hit the good old like button on this video right over there. Hit the good old like button right over there, and then comment down below, I am free from the Matrix. Comment down below, I am free from the Matrix. Number 1, you have to step out of time. In essence, the Matrix is this space-time continuum. It's a space-time reality that we're trapped in, where we've identified with our minds and we think we're our bodies, and we are lost in the illusion of time. Albert Einstein himself said that time is an illusion, albeit a good one. And so what happens is, when we get stuck in time, we're lost in the Matrix. And we can't have an upgraded consciousness, and we can't have liberation, because we're stuck in the past, the future, and we're always oscillating back and forth between worrying about the past, regretting this, contemplating the future, and we're never really present. And only in this moment can we access the dormant powers in our own consciousness, can we find liberation. And so we also project this off, because the Matrix convinces us to want things in the future. Hey, you'll be happy when you get the house, when you get the car, when you get the money, when you get the job, when you get the soulmate, when you get the diamond ring, when you get the this, when you get the that. But it's always in the future. But as long as they keep perpetuating a marketing keeps perpetuating a cycle where we want a better future, we're continuing to be trapped inside the Matrix. In the Bible, it says the kingdom of heaven is within you. So what does that mean? Everything we ever need is within ourselves, for all the happiness and freedom we could ever have. And if we can't grasp that, then we can't have the things that we want. Because once we find that within ourselves, then we see it in everything else. And once we understand that time is just an illusion, that this is an infinite reality, all possibilities exist simultaneously. Most of them just exist at vibratory frequencies we cannot see. Just like when you're on 91.1 FM radio and you're listening to rock, 94 FM exists too. You're just not on the frequency of it through the knob. Similarly, you're not on the frequency of the thing that you want in consciousness. You have to possess it in consciousness by recognizing you're actually an infinite being who incarnated in a physical body to learn certain spiritual lessons and realize and remember yourself as a creator of your own experience through consciousness. That's what you came here in order to learn. So what I invite you to do is get rid of hoping for a better future, get rid of wishing for a better future, get rid of regretting about the past. The only thing we can do is be in this moment right now and start practicing the excitement and liberation here in this moment, because all the great things are existing right now. Life is happening now. But how most people live is they think life will happen in the future, so they're always waiting for a future that never arrives, because once that future arrives, they've still developed the habit of projecting salvation in the future, so it's a never-ending cycle where they're never really present. Here in this moment is beautiful. Take a deep breath in and breathe out, and recognize all you want already exists here in this moment. And to the degree we can start radiating those feelings of the freedom, the joy, the happiness, and the excitement, we start to pull those things back from the quantum field. So comment down below, time is an illusion. Comment down below, time is an illusion. Comment down below, time is an illusion. Number 2, in order to go from the Matrix to liberation, we have to start trusting our own intuition. So the Matrix is basically a system of control that's been set up to keep our consciousness at very low levels of third dimension, where we think we're just our bodies and that's it. We already know you're not just your body. You have a body, but you are not your body. You're a spiritual being in a body, and everything is energy. The walls are energy. We already know this. Science has proven that everything is energy. And so what happens is we live in this system of control that keeps our consciousness at a very small bandwidth, and it makes it easy for the elites to control it and prosper and power off of it. And so the way that this illusion perpetuates itself through generations is we are conditioned to believe things outside of ourselves. So the way this whole thing is set up is just for everyone to be convinced to listen to that person. Oh, they're older than me, they must know more. Oh, my mom, my dad knows more. This teacher knows more. This authority figure knows more. This politician knows more. This religious leader knows more. And so we're conditioned always to believe in everything outside of ourselves. Now the trouble with that is that it's actually against the entire any enlightened master, Buddha, Jesus, all these people. What are they telling us? That actually salvation is within yourself. Yet we built a society that's conditioned to project consciousness outward, believe the things outside of ourselves, and then you think about the things that we're taught to believe. You're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're too old, you're too young, you're not good looking enough, you're not lovable, love is pain, true love isn't out there. If you buy enough things, then you'll be happy. And it just goes on and on and on. And what it's actually doing is enslaving us rather than freeing us, rather than giving us liberation. The only way for us to find true freedom is to start to listen to that inner voice. It's a very soft whisper, especially in the early stages, because we aren't taught to listen to it. We're taught to listen to other people. There's a very soft whisper in your voice, in your mind. The voice that was whispering to me as a 19-year-old when I dropped out of college, it was saying to drop out of college. Now, everything outside of myself told me I was an idiot if I did that. But there was just this voice, and it's like no one understood it. And I realized they don't need to get it, you just need to feel it. They don't need to understand it, they don't need to get it, you just need to feel it. So comment down below, they don't need to get it, you just need to feel it. Comment that down below, they don't need to get it, you just need to feel it. What do I mean by that? That's intuition. I had this feeling that was like, okay, drop out of college and you're going to write books and you're going to help upgrade and awaken the consciousness of humanity, and this is what you're going to do with your life. But I was like, really? Everyone says this is a bad idea. Should I do this? Right? But as I started to listen to that inner voice more and more and more, what happened is it actually started to pull the veil back on this illusion, and I started to see it more for what it was as I followed my intuition more. What intuition really is the universe or God speaking its plan to you. And when you follow that, it leads you to liberation. It leads you to freedom in life. It leads you to your purpose. It leads you to fulfilling your soul's destiny, your mission in life. So it starts with your intuition. So the question is, what is your intuition telling you? It might sound like fear, because it might come off as fear rather. Because when I was going to drop out and write the books and stuff, it petrified me. That really made me afraid, because I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to be a failure in life if I do this. Everyone says that if I do this, bad things are going to happen. So it may come off as fear, but that's just because the mind has been conditioned by our society to believe things that are just, quite frankly, an illusion and they aren't true, but we're taught to believe them as absolute truths. So then when your intuition comes in and says something contrary, it immediately makes you afraid. So what is your intuition saying to you right now? What is it speaking to you right now? What is inspiring you? The word inspire means in spirit. So your intuition is bringing you in alignment with your own spirit. So the question is, what is your intuition speaking to you? And when you start to live from there, you start to practice self-reliance. You start to practice liberation, because you're living from an inward-out approach rather than stuck outward based off of what everyone says you should do. You start to create your own rules and your own guidelines and your own inner convictions, and that leads you to liberation. Number 3, you recognize that everything is energy. And this is just a playground. That's all this is. There was once this famous guru, supposedly named Mukhananda, and he said, someone at one of his satsangs, like basically this big talk with a bunch of people there, they said, why are you so smug when everything is so bad in the world? That's what this woman said to him. And he said, man, in my world, nothing could ever go wrong. It sounds like, what is he talking about? What is he saying, really? He's saying that he's awakened. He recognizes that this thing is an illusion. This is just a playground for us to experience life and to learn certain lessons, to practice love, to remember our oneness with God and our oneness with other people, and as a result, liberate ourselves from the density and confinement of third dimension. And he realized that. So therefore, he knew nothing could ever go wrong, because this was just all a learning lesson and experience that he chose to have in order to reconnect and to remember and realign with the oneness with the universe. So to him, nothing could ever go wrong. How could it go wrong? Because he recognized that this was a playground. Furthermore, everything is just energy. And when you recognize everything is energy, here's how the Matrix keeps us trapped. It wants us to want futures, things in the future. And then what it does is then it goes, well, that thing in the future is going to be hard and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And so it constantly traps us. And then it traps us through really, really, really hard work all the time. And then we're not as good as these people and as these people. Everything is energy. And when we realize everything is energy, we can grasp that our consciousness is always radiating a frequency, and in turn we're pulling things back to us that match it. So we can build a fluidity with life, in a fluidity with the things that we want, when we recognize that it's all just energy and that this is just a playground here for us to experience. So relax. Everything is under control. Everything is exactly as it's meant to be. And when we can start to have that acceptance of what is, then we actually get a lot of freedom. It's a paradox, as we think, well, if we surrender to what is, then we're giving up our power. We're giving up the power of our ego, but we're gaining the power of the universal intelligence moving through us. That's the paradox. And when we start to live and radiate and reflect that inner light out into our lives, what happens is we become a beacon of light for a lot of people. Not only does our life become like this huge momentum domino effect, and we attract all these amazing things and we get all the things that we may want in life. Yeah, that's cool. But more than that, we become a beacon of light, and we start radiating that outwards to other people. And when we start to live from that place, what happens is we're no longer trapped into the matrix of our mind. As Martin Luther King said, you'll never be free until you step outside of the narrow confines of your personal concerns for the broader ones of those around you. You step out of your personal concerns, you step out of the matrix-created mind, and you become a light beacon for everyone around you, just like this guy Muktananda was, because he's like, look, everything's perfect in my world. Nothing could go wrong, because everything is love, and I'm here in order to learn and grow, and I can't react to little things that happen in the economy, in my personal life. Why? Because I know it's all happening for me. Life isn't happening to me. It's happening for me. And it's happening for me to continue my journey of awakening and upgrading my consciousness. And I came here in this polarized world with a lot of dark and a lot of light. I came here in order to remember and reconnect to that light. And that's why I'm here, and that's why you're here too. So if you enjoy this video, if this makes you feel good, gives you a lot of peace, make sure you hit the like button on this video right over there. Go out and make someone smile today. Go out and be a light in the world today. Let's both do it. Let's make it our promise to each other. Right there down below, you'll see the second mind. I created a software to rewire your mind. The Matrix is the first mind. That's the one that's conditioned you to think you're your body, you're not good enough, smart enough, it's hard to get what you want. The second mind is the one that's wired for everything that you want. And it's right there down below. You can demo it for free. What it's going to do is reprogram your brain and your mind so you start living from your highest calling in life, and it becomes easier and easier, and life becomes more fluid. It's right there down below. It's a free demo, and it'll reprogram your mind right there down below. It's thesecondmind.com, pinned to the comments. You'll see it right there down below, so go down there and then hit the subscribe button, the bell notification. bell notification is what notifies you for new videos. Even if you're already subscribed, just double check you've actually hit the bell notification right over there on the side. Otherwise, you won't get notified for new videos. Comment down below, I am free from the Matrix. Comment down below, I am free from the Matrix. And if you're free from the Matrix, what does that mean? It means that you're identifying with yourself as an infinite soul, as pure consciousness, as infinite potentiality here in space and time to practice and remember oneness, not only with God and the universe, but with other people, and to radiate that love out into the world.